Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. This is Johan and today is the 30th anniversary for Fire Emblem. So I figured, hey, why not? Let's make this stupid ranking video that I kept wanting to make but I never did. So, here we are. I have a tier list maker thing here. And I don't have a script or anything, so I'm just going to kind of go off what my mind is thinking at the moment. But I'm going to rank every single Fire Emblem game that I've ever played, including the spin-offs. So yeah. We're going to just go in order here at the bottom. So it's kind of random, but whatever. It should be fine, right? Okay. Let's not mess with that. All right. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first up, we have the first Fire Emblem game. Fire Emblem Shadow, or sort of... Wow. You know, Shadow Dragon, but the original title. Dark Dragon and Sword of Light. There we go. So actually I haven't played this one, so I'll just put that over here. Yeah, alright. And next, we actually have Three Houses. Alright, we're going from the first to the most recent. Three Houses, I would say, I would put that in... Oh, actually, it's hard for me to say. For now, I'll put it in A. So, yeah, Three Houses is really fun. I think the only reason I'm being hesitant about putting it in A is because I burnt myself out on it. Because I played 3 routes back to back, and I played the 4th route as soon as Kindred Shadows came out. So I was pretty overloaded with the game. But I think I can say in the end that it was a very good experience. I love the FE4 references they added to, and the way the story is styled and everything, branching paths. It was all good, and they didn't really, make it like how Fates was, in that you didn't have to buy freaking 3 routes or 4 routes. Yeah, they're really good gameplay, really good replayability. Obviously, I was really skeptical, I guess, about the Garrick Mach Monastery stuff. I'm sure many people were, but it ended up being pretty fun. I might even kind of argue that sometimes the planning phase for these games is like one of the most fun parts about it. But to each their own, I guess. Once you get everyone to the class you want them to be and stuff, it's not planning stuff. It gets kind of old really fast. So yeah, I guess you'll find yourself skipping monastery parts if you've already seen everything. Once you get your units capped out and everything, but regardless, super good gameplay. I love the new mechanics. Battalion's really cool. Divine Pulse, I would say, was it was nice. It's nice to have, but they gave us way too many charges to the point where classic mode felt like casual mode. So if they reduced the charges we had to maybe like 3, maybe even 5 is fine too. That'd be cool. Granted, the game was kind of designed around it, especially maddening mode, where ambush reinforcements come out of nowhere and right behind you sometimes even. So I'm not a fan of that. So hopefully they don't design gameplay and maps around Divine Pulse next time. But nonetheless, really good. Story was pretty good for the most part, particularly Blue Lions. That had the most impact on me. Crimson Flower was a bit too short. That was the first one I played, so it still left a mark on me. But yeah, it felt like it could have been more developed. And obviously, it lacked a lot of cutscenes and stuff. I don't want to go too long for Three Houses. There's tons to talk about. But really good game. Unfortunately, the graphics were not very good. Hopefully, they'll vamp that up next game. But really good. A tier for now. Next, we have Awakening. So, oh man. I was all over this game when it first came out, because there's a really huge drought period for Fire Emblem between Shadow Dragon and Awakening. If you didn't play New Mystery, not New Mystery. Yeah, New Mystery of Emblem. Wow, what the heck? I'm getting these titles mixed up all of a sudden. New Mystery of Emblem. There we go. I had it right to begin with. And yeah, if you missed out on that game and you weren't a fan of Shadow Dragon, then there's a huge drop period for the game where Awakening was supposed to be the last game in the series, if you didn't know. So I was all over this game when it first came out. But I think it was another kind of Three Houses effect where I just played too much. I clocked I don't know, I think it was like 200 hours or something in a very short span of time. So I got burnt out of it real quick. But nonetheless, it was still a good game. I think I'm going to put it in B tier. um, yeah, actually, I'll put it in C tier. I'll put it in C tier. So I think looking back, like it had good. It had a good atmosphere, I guess you could say. But like I don't know, a lot of the characters didn't really stick with me. I wasn't a big fan of too many of them, um, and the gameplay was completely busted, which was fun in its own right. Like grinding up your units to be completely crazy broken with limit breaker and all that stuff was fun, but it takes away a lot of the strategy from the game. So it's kind of like, it's you're playing a different game at that point, in my opinion. So I kind of dock points for that. So I'll put in C tier. The story was not the best structured as well. The first few chapters are great, but it kind of got a little dull midway through. But yeah, I'll say C tier actually. But I think I acknowledge that it saved the franchise. Appreciate it. It's really good. Next we have Binding Blade. Let's see. It's been a while since I actually played it. I've played it twice, but I think this is a solid B tier game. I would say. Um, for in my opinion at least. I love the GBA format, but these Binding Blade had a lot of tedious maps and stuff, side guide and chapters, and pretty big maps and stuff. So I wasn't really too into it. And Roy was super boring as well. But nonetheless, it was classic GBA style game. So I dig it. Unit balances all over the place. But I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a good experience. Probably GBA bias coming in here more than anything. But yeah, story was really straightforward. But as other FE tubers would probably say, that's not always a bad thing. Yeah, not much to say since I don't remember too much about it. All right. FE7, all right. This is easy S tier since it was my first Fire Emblem game. Best memories with it. I never get tired of replaying it. Yeah, even though I like every time I replay it, I always use like the same characters and whatnot too, and it still never gets old. I just love this game so much. I acknowledge that the story really sucks, but regardless, it has some of my favorite gameplay in the whole series, and the maps aren't too big. Really, the characters actually like. Maybe it's just nostalgia in the end, but the characters really, I really have a, I don't know, connection with them. I guess not really connection, but I have a fondness with them more than other games. Particularly Lynn and Elliewood, as you guys might know if you keep up with my Heroes content. But yeah, definitely S tier game, one of my favorites of all time. And let's move on. Echo Shadows of Valentia. I'll put this in. Yeah, I'll put it A tier above Three Houses. I freaking love this game a lot. Just mostly because of, like the presentation itself and the voice acting. Like it's just crazy. The music, like the production quality of this game is off the charts for its time, or for the 3D given the 3DS limitations, like they nailed it with presentation of this game. Animations were super smooth. Voice acting for the full voice acting for the first time in the series, amazing. They had a wonderful casting and voice directing. So I was kind of bummed out when I heard you couldn't have Japanese audio because I usually play with Japanese voices, but the English cast, wow, it was super good, super good. But yeah, granted, it's as many have said, Echoes is Gaiden is kind of has iffy map design and all that stuff. I personally didn't mind too much, other than the more annoying chapters, as most people would say, like the fortress and a lot of the swamp maps and Celica's route. But regardless, I was still able to enjoy the game a crap ton. Despite the flaws, despite the very big flaws, I should say, the game I couldn't criticize the game at all. Honestly, I just loved it that much. So definitely A tier. All right. And we have all three Fates games in a row. Okay. So first we have Birthright. Yeah. I played this second. I played Conquest first. And yeah, probably not the best idea to play immediately after Conquest. But it was a very vanilla experience, as you'd expect. I didn't enjoy it too much because Conquest had really good gameplay, but Birthright, it's kind of, since it was easy and stuff, like I kind of just steamrolled through it. I should have played. I think I played hard. Maybe I should have played Lunatic though. But nonetheless, I'll put this in D tier. I don't remember too much about it just because it was that forgettable. But on Conquest, on the other hand, I'll put in B tier. Yes, solely because of the gameplay, as most people would agree, probably. Um, yeah, it was one of the most intense games I've ever played, honestly, in Fire Emblem, difficulty-wise. Um, I love the way they handled the broken pair-up system from Awakening. They balanced it out pretty decently. Granted, pair-up shields were pretty broken, but enemies had skills, and if you weren't paying attention or if you weren't careful, like it could catch you off guard so quickly, which could be annoying in some ways, but in the end, it's your fault, I guess. But no divine pulse in this game, so it was a lot less forgiving. But still, the game was very very fun. Yeah, I don't want to comment on the story or the characters and things like that. I think it's already been beaten to death at this point, so I'll just leave it at that. Next, we have Revelations. I'm just going to put this over here and call it a day. All right. Next, we have Fire Emblem Gaiden, which I haven't played. And then we have Fire Emblem 4, Genealogy of the Holy War. So I went into this game. I finished it like a couple years ago for the first time, and I went into it with decently high expectations because so many people praised it, the story and whatnot. Personally, I would say it would be around here on the tier list, low B tier. While I do agree that the story was freaking amazing, the world was amazing, the lore was great, all of that was fantastic. I really, really did not like the gameplay much. Very, very tedious in my opinion. Maybe I can only blame myself because I used a lot of non-horse units, so moving around the map was very awful. But next time I play it, maybe I'll actually know what I'm doing and actually use horse units and things like that to make the game a lot less tedious. But yeah, that docks a lot of points for me. But story, I will agree, definitely one of the best in the series. All right, next we have. Actually, I'll save the spin-offs for later. All right, we are going to New Mystery of the Emblem, which I played once, half translated. Like I had menus translated and everything, but I didn't have the story translated. So that will not factor into my rating. I'll have to replay it really soon though. That being said, I enjoyed this one quite a bit. I'll probably put it around here, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure about the ordering yet, but somewhere around here. Yeah. It was definitely more fun to play than Shadow Dragon, I'll admit. But not knowing the story is kind of iffy regardless. It just took all of my problems with Shadow Dragon and basically fixed it. So it turned out to be pretty enjoyable. Of course, it still kind of had dated mechanics, so it didn't give me like the full experience I was used to from like the GBA titles, but it was still good. And then we have the original Mystery of the Emblem, which I haven't played. I don't know what the deal with that art is. That's definitely Fire Emblem Heroes Marth with FE7 text. But whatever. Alright, next we have Path of Radiance. Alright, this is going right here? Probably here. Alright, so I love Telia series. So I'm gonna get that out of the way. Yeah, they're my favorite games in the series, probably. Path of Radiance. definitely one of my favorites as well. I just love the whole Grail mercenaries. Like they're just a fun type of group to be around, to play with, and them being not of nobility for once was really refreshing. I played it when the game came out in like 2005, was it? But I was super hyped. We had cutscenes, we had 3D gameplay, and all that. I was so excited to play it, and it definitely paid off. Um, though just the world of Tellius was um, super engrossing. Granted, we didn't get the full picture until Radiant Dawn came out, but despite that, like it was probably mostly the characters. Honestly, like the characters were so like they had their own identity, and they're really easy to care for. Despite well, actually, it did have a support system, but there aren't too many supports conversations in that game, I believe. So, despite that, like the game to make the player care for its character so much, regardless, I think says a lot in its own right. The gameplay was good. Back when I played it, I was not as experienced, obviously, so the difficulty was not too much of a factor for me. I haven't replayed it recently, but a lot of people say it's one of the easier ones, which they're probably right, honestly. But regardless, still one of my favorite games to play. Yeah, and we'll go ahead and move on to Radiant Dawn on that note, which I will put right here. Radiant Dawn is my favorite Fire Emblem game of all time. It just expands everything about what Path of Radiance did so well. The story gets on a scale I never would have imagined. So it was super hype. I loved the part splitting. I don't like how the units were dispersed necessarily, but I just loved how they're distinct parts following different main characters. And how they all converge at the end. Oh man, it was just so hype. Has my favorite characters in the series by far. Granted, a lot for Path of Radiance. Just Telly's universe in general. Has my favorite gameplay, even though it's not. It doesn't have too many different. It doesn't have too many gimmicky mechanics, but regardless, like man, this game, I can't think about it without just smiling or wanting to replay it or whatever. So yeah, I'll leave it at my favorite game. Top tier. And next we have Sacred Stones, which I will put. Let's put Sacred Stones about here, I would say. Right here. Yeah, around there. So Sacred Stones was also really good. Like, man, I remember playing it when it first came out. Like, I was ecstatic that there's another Fire Emblem game that came out. I didn't have a Game Boy Advance at the time though, so I had to wait for my friend to get the game. But still, like once I got my hands on it, I was so happy. It didn't grasp me as much as FE7 did, obviously, but it was still a super solid game. Definitely one of the easier ones though. But and one of the shorter ones too. If you just play one playthrough, only 21 chapters, 22 chapters with no side quests. So definitely wish there was more to it. Regardless, it was really good, really fun. I enjoyed doing the creature campaign stuff at the end. But yeah, I don't have much to say about it. Other than that, I don't know how long this video has been going, but it looks like almost 20 minutes now. So let's try to wrap this up quickly. All right. Next, Shadow Dragon, I will put right here. Now, I've only played it once, also with the semi-completed translation patch. But yeah, when I first played it, it was kind of, dull. I didn't like the animations much or the models. But I feel like if I played this game again now, I would probably bump its rating up a bit. Who knows? I'll have to replay it. I feel like now that I have a better understanding about like how to play the game or like the Fire Emblem gameplay in general, like the way you think about units and stuff. I feel like I'll probably enjoy it more. I'll probably try like hard, probably not hard 5, but like hard 3 or something in the future. All right, and next we have Thracia 776, which I just finished last month, and that's definitely going Oh man, it's a tough one. I'll put it right here above Three Houses. Yeah, Thracia was amazing. Like it blew my expectations away. Like I know Mecha kept praising it. If you know the other Fire Emblem YouTuber, but a lot of other people were criticizing it for its weird mechanics. So once I finally got my hands on it, like I wasn't sure what I was getting into, but I ended up really, really liking a lot of the different mechanics they added. Not everything, of course, like movement stars. Those were pretty frustrating, but stamina system, capturing system, all that stuff, really, really cool. I loved it. I wish they would bring it back in full form rather than how Fates did it. Um, but I super enjoyed this game. It definitely was a different type of tactical game, given how stabs were a much bigger deal, and you can do a lot of crazy stuff with them. Like a lot of creativity could go into your gameplay, which I really appreciate. So yeah, since it's Jiguro, story was amazing. Man, it really fleshed out some of the characters that we saw um, in genealogy. Kinda, I guess. There were no support conversations, so I guess not necessarily, but just seeing his side, Leaf's side of the story was really cool. Yeah, so that's all the mainline games. And real quick, we'll do the spin-offs. Fire Emblem Heroes, all right. Very in a controversial state right now to its fans. I am of the camp that I still love the game. I don't have too much of a problem with like the power creep because that's just inevitable. But at the time of making this video, the special banners with young Marth and young Sheeta and all of them have just released. A lot of people were freaking out about Sheeta, but in reality, she's not actually that scary. Like she's not too hard to deal with. Yes, she can, take out half the cast, but at the same time, if she's fighting anyone else outside of that, she gets destroyed. Honestly, so a lot of people just saw Vantage with 5 different effectiveness types and just screamed OP, but I think characters like Larce are much more scary than her. Regardless, point being, since I play in the higher tiers of Arena and Aether 8 and stuff like that, I try to. I really have a fun time trying to optimize characters and whatnot, optimizing my strategy for AR and things like that. So, personally, I still love the game. The gacha part of the game is kind of whatever to me at this point. I'm just trying to get the units I like to plus 10 or legendary heroes that'll help me get to high tier Coliseum stuff. But yeah, so for now, at the current state of April 2020, I would put heroes. Maybe B tier. A tier. Right now, B tier, I would say. Don't count this in the ordering of the other games. It's just in B tier in general. So yeah. And then we have Tokyo Mirage Sessions / Mirage Sessions Encore for the Switch, which is not on here, but still whatever. Basically the same game. I'm going to put this actually in A tier. So I love JRPGs. I love anime. Idol culture is no cringe thing to me. This game owns. I love this game so much. Like the first time I played it, I was like, it was solid, pretty good. But then like I found myself like wanting to replay it like over the years. And then they announced Encore, and I was actually super excited that it was coming to Switch with more content. Beat it like within a couple weeks of when it came out a few months ago. Super loved it. Definitely up there in one of my favorite JRPGs. I highly recommend giving it a chance, even if you think idol culture, like the whole idol culture thing, is kind of cringe to you. Like the gameplay is really, really good. I highly recommend it, regardless. So yeah, there's that. And lastly, we have Fire Emblem Warriors, which I'll put in C tier. It was alright. It was fun. The gameplay was good, but my main issue with it, as you might expect, is the character selection only being from Arcanea, Awakening, and Fates, with a little drop of FE7 and FE Shadows of Valentia. Yeah, honestly, just that those two facts alone like brings this game down. Like, and well, I guess also the repeated move sets too used. Like, and how are that? It's just so funny how they always were saying, "Oh, we didn't want to have too many sword characters in this game," but then there ends up being like 70% sword characters anyway. Like, it's like what the heck. So kind of weird, but still, it was fun, I guess. Regardless, um, really wish they vamped up the character selection. Maybe if they ever make a sequel, we'll see Ike, we'll see Roy, we'll see Three Houses. But I don't know. I don't know how well it did sales wise, but we'll see, I guess. And there you have it. So that is all the Fire Emblem games, video games at least, that are out. If I guess there's also Cipher, but if I would put Cipher like A tier probably. I really like Cipher. Granted, it's gonna be discontinued come later this year, but still, I'm gonna go strong, keep going strong with it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's all for me. Um, Let me know how you guys rank the games too. I'm really curious because a lot of people value different things about Fire Emblem games, despite us all loving Fire Emblem or hating Fire Emblem. So yeah, I'll love to hear what you guys have to say about my tier list, your own tier list, and whatnot. Yeah, so sorry if this video was if my talking was kind of awkward, but yeah, I kind of just did this improv as soon as I got home. But yeah, anyway, happy 30th anniversary of Fire Emblem, everyone. Let's hope for a continued bright future for the series, whether it be a remake or or FE. I guess we're on 17 now. Then again, Sakurai counted Heroes as a mainline title, so 18, I guess technically. But whatever. Yeah, so leave your comments, leave a like, subscribe, whatever. See you later. Peace out.